I found this video myself and I was browsing, and it's maybe just as a result of what's going on in the YouTube algorithm, but I was browsing and I seen the title of it and I said, this is an interesting video. So we got an up and coming YouTuber here because I like to tap in and see what the up and coming YouTubers are doing. You know, YouTubers with anything less than 50,000 subscribers, those are the ones that I'm a fan of the most. Sometimes I find people with 1,000 and 2,000 subscribers and they just doing phenomenal content, and I know they're going to blow up. Eventually they do, but I become a fan of theirs, not the super huge YouTubers, but the smaller ones, right? And this person at the time that I see his video, I think he got 29,000 or something like that subs. But he dropped a video, right? And this video basically was detailing, and he was being very transparent about how it is that he lives his life and why. And I didn't watch the whole video. I only watched the first minute or so. He was detailing why he's living paycheck to paycheck after making about $130,000 a year. And so I want to react to this. I want to break this down. I want to give you some insight and understanding based off of what it is that I see. Again, he's breaking down why most people that make six figures, more than half, are living paycheck to paycheck. All right. And so I beat this into y'all head on a regular basis because I don't want y'all to just think that making $50, $60, $47,000 a year is enough. It's not enough. It's not enough. You need more. You need a whole lot more. So let me tap into the super chats really quickly. Spaces says Candace Owens covered this. Basically, a chemical was strategically put in the chickens, causing food, causing them to not be able to lay eggs. Very interesting. I'm gonna have to do a little bit more research for that. Hey, send me that, Spaces. I'd be interested to hearing about that. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Also, the Alpha Juice Company. Discount codes is in the description. Do not order your Alpha Juice before first putting in a discount code. If you need to get in touch with me personally, email me at antondaniels413@gmail.com and we're going to get it popping, all right? Let's go ahead and get into the video, ladies and gentlemen.
A recent study showed that 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, and of those, 40% is making more than $100,000 per year. But you might be thinking, wow, that's insane. How is anyone living paycheck to paycheck on six figures? That's so much money. Well, let me show you how easy it is to blow through a six-figure income. I'm a product designer at a tech company. I make $130,000 a year.
He's a product designer at a tech company. Don't judge a book by its cover. He got on his Alabama hat. He got on a hoodie. He got on a white t-shirt. He living in a nice house. He's a product designer at a tech company. He makes personally $130,000 a year. Now, stay with me on this one.
And I'm sad to admit that I'm one of those Americans. We're going through my spending, so hold on tight, grab a cold beverage, and prepare to lose all respect for me. We're gonna walk through my bank statements in the month of August, and we're gonna go through everything, all of my spending, what I spend.
So many people are afraid to be transparent because they're worried about what the people on social media or the internet is going to say about them. I will tell you this. The fastest way to grow your channel is to be transparent about who it is that you are, regardless of what other people say. That's how I've built my channel. That's how I built my following. I believe that living transparent and then you wind up finding the people that more closely aligns with what it is that you're doing is the best way to build a solid, organic following, not a bunch of finesse, not a bunch of celebrity videos and all of that other kind of stuff. And this is just a caveat. Being real with your audience and being transparent about who you are actually empowers you, and it makes you more powerful instead of actually holding back or doing something negative to you. Let them talk. Let them react to you. You get all of the visibility as a result of it.
On my mortgage, my car payment, my power bill, groceries, gas, babysitters. I'm stressed and a little embarrassed. I hate this stuff. I avoid looking at all finances. I actually, while I was doing this, I realized that I've been unknowingly paying for Skillshare for the last 23 months, 20 bucks a month. It's almost $500. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. Okay, with all the setup out of the way, let's break down my total income was actually like $129,000.
So I can see the ring on his finger. So obviously he's married.
Not $130,000, which is crazy. I was asking for $130,000, like a bump up to $130 for the longest time. Eventually they came to me and they're like, we got you close. We got you $129,000. Like, why? It's the weirdest thing. I should say that I recently did get a new job that came with a pay bump, so things aren't nearly as tight anymore, but 100 grand just ain't what it used to be. Am I right? My gross pay per paycheck is $4,961.55, but we're actually
So I'm assuming that that's every 2 weeks.
Do 2 pay periods or about 1 month, just so there's more stuff to look
Yep, I
at.
was
So
right.
we'll bump that up to $9,923.
So his gross, not his net, not after 401ks, not after taxes. I'm assuming that he's married, so he probably gets a significant tax break as a result of it. His gross on a regular basis, on a monthly basis, is roughly $10,000 for all intents and purposes, okay? It's $10,000. I'm looking at this for the first time in the same way that y'all looking at it.
And 1 cent. But before I see any of that money hit my account, I pay $1,852.78 in taxes, and there's $280 in pre-tax deductions, which includes health insurance and dental. And then I pay $1,190.78 in 401k contribution, which was 12% of my income, and the company would match up to 6%. So that was an extra.
And that's normal. Most companies will match up to 6% of whatever it is that you contribute into your 401k. Now, I got to give him some props, right? Because he's saying I'm living paycheck to paycheck, but he's also basing that off of taxes, after insurance. And then more importantly, if you just go ahead and set it and just forget it and act like it doesn't even exist, it looks like it just comes out as a part of taxes. And you need to be contributing into your 401k, all right? Your 401k comes out, and then after your 401k comes out, then that's the amount afterwards that you are then taxed on. So a lot of people is asking, well, why doesn't he tax even more? Well, it's because it actually lowers his adjusted gross income so that the amount of money that's actually being taxed and going over to the federal government is sans the 401k. Now, when you really get to a certain level in life, then you'll start doing it a little bit differently, and you won't do a 401k, but you'll do something else. And if you want to tap into that, then you become a part of the Patreon, and then we can have that conversation. However, he's telling you that he's contributed into his 401k. So by the time that he actually retires, he'll probably have a couple million at least. If he stays consistent throughout his career, he'll probably have at least a couple million to be able to retire off of. So he's living paycheck to paycheck, but it doesn't mean that his net worth is not continuously growing up, okay?
Extra $594 to my 401k, which if I need $1 million when I turn 59 and a half, then I have failed in a big way. A 401k kind of feels like you're betting on yourself to fail, but it is a good way to kind of pay yourself first. There's a concept in one of those books like Richest Man in Babylon, or one of those finance books, that says that you should pay yourself 10% of your income first, like pay yourself. So I see the 401k as that kind of thing. And I guess with the 401k, I'm not technically paycheck to paycheck then, because I'm like putting that money away. Anyway, what's hitting my account is $3,300 per paycheck, or $6,600 per month. We're just going to go through the things that.
Now, he went from $10,000. Let's break this down, y'all. He went from $10,000, basically $9,900 and some change, to $6,600. That's a third. That's literally a third of everything that he makes is already wiped out. So when people sit there and they tell you, when I tell you if you're making $100,000 a year, that really only equates to about $67,000 a year, I'm right. Let me say that again. It does not matter if you live in the suburbs or if you live in the city. If you make $100,000 a year before you start to talk about life, you're really only making $67,000 a year, man. That's a third of everything. Just to be able to have the privilege of making six figures, a third is gone. He just did the math for you. Please do not debate me on this because I am right. Okay, let's continue.
I think you would find the most interesting. Starting with this stuff on the top. So paycheck, $3,299. These are the 2 paychecks for the 2 pay periods. And then this first big one, $2,253.03. That's our mortgage. So that's our biggest expense.
So he's already paying $2,250 just to be able to breathe. So now that means he's left for $4,300 just to have a roof over your head. That ain't the heat. That ain't nothing. That ain't electricity, that ain't water, that ain't food, that ain't nothing. These are fixed expenses. I break down inside of the Patreon how it is that you need to be able to set up your budget. You need to set your budget up based off of percentages, not based off of the amount of money that you're bringing home. Let me say it again. You need to do your budget based off of percentages. I break it down inside of the Patreon, not the amount of money that you're taking home. Fixed expenses, variable expenses, how much you pay yourself first. All of that stuff should be broken down by percentages. That way, you don't have to worry about lifestyle creep, and your investments continue to stay automated, which then puts you in a position to be rich when you get older.
In the month. Just for some quick context, this is my house. I'm married. I have a wife, 2 kids, ages 4 and 2.
Woo.
We drive a Passat and a 4Runner. We actually don't have a car payment because we paid both of these off while I was.
He don't even got a car payment, and he's living paycheck to paycheck. He's paid both of his cars off. He not driving in a BMW. He don't have a Mercedes. He's not living in riding a Porsche. He ain't got a Rolex. He got a regular hat on. He got a hoodie. He probably works from home most of the time. He probably doesn't even go into work that often. He got a regular house. Doesn't look like he lives in a city. Both of his cars is paid off. All right.
Working the 2 remote jobs, and we've got a little pup named.
And he works 2 remote jobs. He literally just says he worked 2 remote jobs, and he got a little puppy.
Lucy. Say hello, Luce. You're a good doggy. I live in Utah. Check out those beautiful Utah mountains. Let's actually switch to categories. This is still ordered by biggest to smallest. So you can see paycheck is in there, mortgage, Venmo payments. I'm not exactly sure what all these Venmo payments are. Several of these are to babysitters. So we have a babysitter that comes every week, and we pay her, I think it's like $40 to $60.
I'm assuming that his wife doesn't even work. Remember y'all said that y'all want a chick when y'all be jumping on these coaching girls that y'all be saying to me? I say, yeah, so what you want? Yeah, Anton, I want to be like you. I don't want my wife to work. I said, you sure? You built for that? You really ready for that? Because you can't put that genie back in the bottle once you unleash it. You're not going to get her to go back to work just regularly because you out here struggling and looking like a dusty.
Every week, which is totally worth it. If you have young kids, take a little bit of time away from the kids, just be with you and your spouse. Some of this other stuff is like random spending. So I went mountain biking with my brother and I rented a bike. I probably should have pulled the credits out and only shown the money that's going out of our account, but whatever. Our utility.
He's already down to $3,500 and that ain't even got nothing to do with food.
Is $510 per month. This is our power bill, $258, which is a lot. And it's because it's a summer month, like August, it's always going to be higher because we're just cranking that AC. This one, the $150 is for water and garbage and that kind of stuff. Then this is for our internet, $76, and then $24 for our energy bill. My wife really didn't want me to walk through all this stuff. I feel like this is very private. I feel very vulnerable right now, but I honestly don't care. I think it's better to like show this stuff, to talk about it. I don't care if you guys see how much I'm freaking spending on power or how much money I'm making at my company. I think this is like, it's better to get it out in the open so we can all kind of like learn what's possible and what other people are spending on stuff. Dentist for $240.
Listen, he ain't flying hoes in and out of the city on City Girl, on Spirit and Frontier and Delta and American Airlines and Southwest. He ain't doing none of that. He ain't out here balling. He ain't out here making it rain in a strip club. This man lives a very Spartan, regular, suburban, 2 kids, 2 paid off cars, 1 mortgage, got 2 remote jobs, house. That's it. That's all he said. 401k. He has not gone into any splurging. This dude did mountain bike riding with his brother.
$43.77. So I've talked about this on the channel before, but I have fake teeth. I got hit by a car on my road bike when I was 16 years old. So smashed all my teeth out. Recently had some dental work where they had to replace one of the crowns, $243 for one of those visits in August. Our groceries are $892. They kind of fluctuate between $800 and $1,000.
He didn't say we go out to eat. He said groceries. This is feeding 4 people and a puppy. 4 people and a puppy. Don't y'all wish y'all was a kid again? He's basically spending $900 a month in food. He's down to $1,900 and he makes $130,000 a month. So before we continue into this, first of all, I need y'all to get the likes up. Secondly, please help me to understand on how it is that we can survive on $47,000 a year again. Please tell me how you why you think that it's important for a woman to submit to you making $47,000 a year and you still trying to be a rapper. You still trying to be a rapper. That she don't see your vision. He's down to practically nothing. I would tell this man that he need to go and get a side hustle on the weekend. Don't get comfortable on the weekend. Like, ooh, $1,900. I spent that early this morning. $1,900. Tomorrow, I'm going to be flying down to Disneyland because I'm taking my wife and my daughter to Disney World because their birthdays is back to back, back to back. And it cost me the equivalent of a little over $10,000. I haven't even got there yet. That's just to make sure that my daughter, her flight, her friend's flight, me, my wife, I fly first class, so it's a little different for me. All right, I will give you that. Park passes. She want the hopper. She want the fast pass. We doing an Airbnb because it don't make sense to get a hotel room, and we gonna be down there for like such a long time. That ain't even including food, restaurants, gifts, nothing. This man, he ain't even living like me. He got $1,900 left after food and a house.
Dollars right around there. Eating out. We're so bad. We're so bad at this. We eat out way too much. $782 eating out.
So that's where a large chunk of he can cut out that $782. That's where he could be back up to $1,900 if he cut out that $782. But how many of us actually eat our paychecks? How many of us actually eat our paychecks? How many of us are overindulging on things that we don't need just out of what we would call pure convenience? And he's not even writing it off as a business expense by taking clients out and nothing like that. But let's continue. Because a lot of us do it. He's not an anomaly. A lot of us do it.
And this is for 4 people. I mean, 2 adults and then 2 kids. But we could definitely cut some cost in eating out. I never know, like, what's normal. Like, what do you guys spend on eating out every month? I'm so curious. Like,
I would tell you $700. We spent $450 just the other night at the restaurant. We spent $450 just me and Rita alone. Then we had the bubbly, it's a little different for us, you know what I'm saying?
Comment below if you know how much you spend on groceries, if you know how much you spend on eating out. I would be very curious. Clothing and shopping for $600. Financial advisor.
He got $518 left. That hurt. That means you got to just be wearing the same old. Let me give y'all a little bit of advice how y'all can continue to refine your budgets, or how you can continue to refine your wardrobe without spending an egregious amount on stuff. If you're a guy, I can't speak for women, but if you're a guy, one of the ways in which you can refine your wardrobe without spending an egregious amount of money is you buy one item every pay period. Just one item. One item. This particular pay period, you may buy a shirt. The next pay period, you may buy a pair of pants. Next pay period, you may buy a pair of shoes. And then you continue to buy 1 or 2 items. The next pay period, you may buy, replace all of the underwear that's in your drawer. You may get some socks. The next pay period after that. But you just put yourself on a reoccurring schedule, and then you may only spend, on average, maybe $30, $40 because you may buy some socks on this particular date. And then you may buy some drawers on the next particular date. And then the next date, you actually have more than you anticipated. And then you may pick up a pair of shoes or something like that on the next particular date. But you keep your wardrobe fresh, and then you don't have to spend a whole lot of money on doing a whole bunch of shopping in order to not look like a dusty when you go on your interview, because you're continuing to refine your wardrobe by baking it in without it being too painful. Shout out to Kevo. Kevo says, by the looks of these expenses, that's like living in LA, let alone Cali. Listen, man, I'm telling you, they're in Utah. It's bad everywhere. He didn't say anything that's too crazy. He's spending $800 a month on going out to eat. But outside of that, Anton, traditional or Roth 401k and why? Well, I was going to get into that later. But since you want to talk about it, it depends on your budget. A lot of people say that they would prefer to do the regular 401k simply because it lowers the adjusted gross income that you're going to pay at the end of the year. But you need to start doing a calculation whether or not you're going to be above this particular threshold or that threshold. So, for example, if you're a married couple and you're making $85,000 a year, then you getting a traditional or a regular 401k and then lowering that, making sure that you contribute a significant amount into it, because the thresholds for you to contribute into your 401k is up to 20,000, I think 20,500 per person. You actually go back into the 12% tax bracket if you contribute a significant amount. If you make $100,000 a year, you max out your 401k, you still going to be under that $80,000 threshold, which puts you back at a 12% because your adjusted gross income places you in the 70,000s, right? But when you make a specific type of money, or if you basing it off of the amount of money that you make, then I prefer to do a Roth 401k, because the Roth 401k allows for them to take the taxes ahead of time, which means that your monies that's growing inside of your retirement account is exponentially growing and you'll never pay the taxes on it again. So it's all based off of your lifestyle. It's based off of how things you got set up. It depends on how much money you make per year. It depends on which tax brackets you're trying to enter in. You need to really start doing what I do at the beginning of the year is we literally do a budget for where we anticipate ourselves being for the entire year from both a business perspective and a personal perspective. And that way I know how much money I have to spend from a business perspective in order to meet certain tax requirements and how much money I need to be investing from an asset perspective, right? I know how much money I need to be contributing from a personal perspective in order to meet certain thresholds from a tax perspective. So you need to sit down and understand most people, they just live based off of whatever their paycheck is going to be. They doing it all off of muscle memory. They don't have things written down. They don't have a true budget. They don't know where they're going to be at the end of the year. And then you get this bonquisha's tax service trying to finesse it and then getting you in trouble by the end of the year by trying to get you more on your tax returns. No. If you budget out exactly where you're supposed to be by the end of the year, as well as using the video from a percentage perspective inside of the Patreon on how it is that you need to do your monthly budget, you will kill the game. Because then again, you're starting to look at things from a business perspective. So everything I do, because I make so much money and I don't actually even check my regular paycheck from a regular job, I max out on my 401k every single year, but I do a Roth. Now, let me give you one more tip, all right? I shouldn't be giving y'all all of this information, but I'm going to give you one more tip. Do not max out early, okay? Most of y'all, I'm giving y'all too much sauce. Most of y'all, when you start to get yourself in order, one of the mistakes that I see people make on a regular basis is they hurry up and max out their 401k earlier in the year. The problem with that is that if you get a match, then you're really giving away or you're losing out on free money because the contribution is only up to 6% of your paycheck. So instead, what you want to do is you want to plan it out to where you know that you'll be maxed out by the end of the year at your last paycheck. And that's how you get all of the free money from your job and get all of the benefits by meeting the thresholds that the federal government give you as far as how much you can contribute to your 401k. Again, let me say it again. You want to make sure that you plan out maxing out your 401k by the end of the year, because if you max out too early, you're going to be missing out all on the free money that you're getting as far as the 401k match from your job. Also, for Roth 401k, the money that's contributing for your job actually goes into a regular 401k. So it's still matched your Roth, but the job money goes into the regular 401k, and then your money that you're contributing is going into the Roth. So the regular 401k money is going to be taxed later, but that's still free money from the job, so we don't care no matter what. We want to get the max no matter what. It's free money. I don't care if you got debt. A lot of people tap into me and they say, Anton, should I invest or should I pay off my debt first? I always say pay off your debt, but make sure at the very least you get all of the free money by at least getting the maximum amount that you can match out for your job. On top of that, then make sure that you plan it out all the way throughout the end of the year to where you don't max out until the end of the year so that you can make sure that you're getting all of that free money. All right? I'm giving you the sauce. Don't sit here and say that I have never given you anything for free, because these are the things that you don't think of. And this is how you leave a lot of money on the table, in which you then kill yourself because you are not actually capitalizing off of all of the opportunities that the federal government give you. Then you're going to be sitting there talking about, well, the foreigners, they come over here and they get all of the good sauce. It's available for you too. You just don't really want the information because you're more concerned about women for the streets instead of getting your bag. My people perish. My people are perishing because they are not having the information, nor are they implementing things the right way in order to maximize on how it is that they can get their money. You so busy focused on how you can get a money phone instead of focusing on how it is that you can increase your net worth. All right, let's continue, y'all. We got a lot
For
of show to get through.
$150, we're just kind of like putting away into this long-term savings account. Our insurance is $195 total. So you got $113 for home and auto, and then life insurance, we're paying $54 and $27. So I think 54 is for my life insurance, and then my wife's is $27 a month. This is for our phones. This is for Spotify, Epidemic Sound, Disney Plus, Hulu, so $150 a month. For gas and fuel is $467.97, $283 in just random shopping, and then this is also just random spending. You got post office on there, Walgreens, travel. So in the month of August, we actually took our family to Disneyland, so $357. So I don't know if I should really like count this in my regular spending, but you can see Disneyland Resort, Pooh Corner, Bing Bongs in Anaheim, Tiki Juice Bar, all the best places in Disneyland. There are other things that are obviously missing from this, like we paid for the Disneyland tickets and booked the hotel and other kind of stuff that we booked before this month. So this is just for the month of August. Then the rest of them, parking, returns, books. Yeah, not super important. Okay. So our total spending for those 2 pay periods was $8,010.14. We do have other sources of income, like I do freelance design work, and
I knew it. I told you, you gotta have a hustle. He make $130,000 a year, and you got to have a hustle. Shout out to y'all. Carrie Spencer. Carrie Spencer says, Anton, what's your email for coaching? I'm in a Patreon. Email me at antondaniels413@gmail.com. antondaniels413@gmail.com. Email me. I'm going to get you scheduled for a Zoom call or a personal call. And I don't charge y'all what I charge my corporate clients because I got to be able to add value into y'all life. Shout out to you, Carrie Spencer. Also, Young Gladiator says, you literally answer in detail why I asked. Y'all getting the sauce today. Chef Cartez Jones says, you're the best, Anton, dropping gems. Thank you for the fireball, and I appreciate you for continuing to rock with me, my friend. I try to add as much value to y'all as possible and give y'all the game. That's why we call it the Millionaire Morning Show. You know what I'm saying?
I have a chunk of savings still from like when I did the 2 jobs thing, and I make some money from YouTube. I could go into more detail on that if you're interested. I'm actually surprised at how much I'm making because I'm pretty new to the platform, small audience, not a ton of views, but making more than I would think. So if you want, go ahead and guess below in the comments how much you think I'm making from YouTube. And if anyone gets it exactly right, then I will give you my ad revenue for the month of August. How about that? So that's what our spending to income was looking like back in August. And like I said, I've got a new job, so I'm making more money now. But we're really trying to be more disciplined about spending now, even with the higher income, because I always feel like I've painted myself into a corner with bills and lifestyle where I feel like I have to make a certain amount of money or we're just not going to survive. But going through and seeing like what I actually am spending money on, I'm realizing how much of my spending is not necessary. It's wild how things can slowly build up over time and become the new norm. That's it for the video. Please like this video so that you...
All right, so that was pretty cool. I think that was necessary. And again, one of the reasons why I like to have these conversations is because it's important for me to actually give y'all from a realistic perspective and also a C student's perspective, how it is that we need to look at our business and our finances differently so that we can leverage what we have to get even more of what it is that we want. All right, so